Okay, I believe I am live. Welcome to the stream. I am going to be streaming some Factorio blueprint building today. Just checking everything out here. So we're going to be starting with the usual red and green science. This will be my bus line, just to make sure that we have one. Oh, by the way, I am using Catherine the Sky's building map, so I appear to be Catherine the Sky, even though I'm not. So this, I want to give some extra space with this because with science you want to have some ability to carry the science from the assemblies to the labs. So I want to make sure that I have extra space here. So first off, I will make an underground here. That's the end of any, just to symbolize the end of any other underground. And then I want plenty of space for the top of the bus. And then I'm going to have just 4 belts of space, just for posterity. I may not capture all of this, but just so that I make sure that I have enough. Because these belts here would be for science pass through, and obviously red and green you probably, well, depends on where your labs are, where your science is, because you want to be able to carry the materials, the flasks from one end of the science bus to the other. So we have a goal of producing 5 science per second in the end, once we have assembler 3s. Everything's going to be designed and built with assembler 1s for the first 4 sciences, and then assembler 2s for the last 2, because of the time in which you actually get those sciences in the game. I thought about using assemblers 2 for the military and chemical science, and it could be immediately upgraded, but I'm going to blueprint with the lowest and then go up from there. I think that's better than the opposite of having everything be everything be too high and then having to bring it down. So I am starting with gray machines. Going to have so in order to get to 5 science per second for red science, for automation science, we need 20. So with gray machines, it's 2 science per second to start with. So let's use that number instead of 5 because it'll be confusing otherwise. So with automation science, we need 20 machines making the automation science, and 2 machines making the iron gear wheels. So our iron gear wheels will be here. And I will have a belt of iron coming in here. Going to mark that as iron. And we're making gears. And I will make this initially with small power poles. It's obviously going to be upgraded later to probably medium power poles, but for now this will work, and it'll be fine. I think we want 2 inserters each, just to make sure we get enough throughput. So let's expand that a little bit, just to stop the blinking. going to run some power over from our power source. This was all designed with the vanilla game in mind, so you don't need any mods for this. I do have a couple of mods installed, one by accident and one on purpose. I have Hellmod installed on purpose because that's how I came up with all these numbers. And then I have Squeak Through installed by accident because I don't actually need it because I am in God mode. This map uses an electric energy interface to provide way more power than we'll ever need, and uses infinity chests to keep a supply of items available for the bots to place if I do end up having the bots place some of this stuff. I just realized that I did this wrong. So I will have the bots place some stuff. Now let's use cut. Nice new features. And I want to paste this actually here. The reason being, we want to insert the gears onto the opposite side of this belt, because on the inside of this belt is copper. We will only ever need a half of a yellow belt of copper, even when these machines are assembler 3, and we will only ever need actually a full yellow belt of iron once these machines are assembler 3. So we really don't need a lot of materials for red science. Automation science, I keep looking because I keep forgetting which one's automation, which one's logistic. But in the beginning, you can only have yellow belts to start with, and I want to have the belt capacity be fully available to for later use. So we next thing is building the actual machines for the red science. Click the wrong one. These also just need 2 inserters in, or one inserter each in, one inserter each out. What I'm going to do here is just turn this belt outside of the iron belt that's incoming, and bring it down to there. Since I don't know exactly how we're going to lay the bus out at this point, I'm going to stop all of the sciences at this point in the blueprint, and then if we decide to have the labs over to the right, then they can all turn to the right. If we decide to have all the labs over to the left, they can all turn to the left. If they're in the middle, they can turn whichever direction they need to. And by having 4 belts worth of space here, that covers enough for all 7 sciences, which, depending on what we do with the rocket, may not be necessary, but that'll be fine as well. I should have done this copy before I turn that belt, but that'll be alright. So we need a total of 20 red science machines. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. I'll trim the belts. And that's red science. 1 done. Oh, hello, 114 people. Wow, I did not notice everyone joined already. Alright, so welcome everybody from Catherine and Sky's stream. I am building the science blueprints for our MMO event next week. And I'm using Catherine and Sky's building map. This is a completely vanilla map. It does use some of the vanilla sources, such as the electric energy interface, which is producing a massive amount of power. A bunch of infinity chests providing every item that you could possibly need. Yeah, I got confused. I was not looking at the Twitch interface for longer than a minute and didn't notice. Let's see. Nightbot's going a little hyperactive. I'll have to turn that down. Maybe it might be a follow, because I see Catherine Sky was able to use 3, so it might be because she's a follower. So hint, hint, you can follow. But anyway, so back to this map. So the goal is to build blueprints that can handle 5 science per second once everything has been upgraded to Assembler Machine 3. Right now, we're only using Assembler Machine 1 for red and green science. So these are only going to produce 2 per second, but that's fine because it's easy enough to upgrade. I will review a little bit here. This assembly will still only need this half belt of copper here and this one belt of iron here, even when they're all assembly machines 3. So it's red science is a very, very light science. So, oh, you're welcome, Catherine. I enjoy making these. I actually made a set for half of this after 0.17 dropped for my own games. So, honestly, some of these designs are going to be heavily borrowed from those, but I don't mind at all. We have red science is done here. There's 2 iron gear wheels and 20 red science machines, so that will produce, like I said, 5 science per second at the end, 2 science per second right now. Assuming we have the materials at this point in the game to actually feed this. Next up is green science, which is also called, or now called, logistics science. I keep checking the names because I can never remember the names of these first 2. The military science and the chemical science I've got down. Production and utility I can usually get when I think about it for a second, but automation and logistic I just cannot remember. So we have for logistic science we need 24 machines making logistic science. So to be similar to the automation science, but not quite the same. Oops. That belt is going to be my input here from the inserters and the belts that are required for these. So for the inserters and the belts, we will need 1 belt machine and 2 inserter machines. We'll also need 1 gear machine each. And I think I can do it like this. I'm going to have to experiment a little bit on this one. But I think I can do it like this if I just use if I just sideload these properly. No, not sideload those. If I sideload the... No, this needs to be inserters. If I sideload the inserters here, then I can make some more gears here. Make some belts here. And then make more belts and more gears, more inserters, excuse me, and more gears here. This will put the inserters on the bottom side of this belt, which will be on the left side here, which means the remainder of the inserters here will easily side load into the onto the same side of the belt. The other thing I can re-explain is my spacing here. So this belt symbolizes my my top line of my bus. I'm leaving plenty of space here for power poles, roboports, anything else that's on the on this side of the bus. I may not blueprint this whole thing, but I'm giving myself plenty of space so that I can blueprint enough. These 4 spaces here are for the science belts. There are 7 sciences. Half a belt for each means 3.5 belts, so that's 4 belts worth. And this is to allow for the labs to be off to the right, somewhere in the middle, or off to the left. That way the science can be routed in either direction. And then I learned this trick from Catherine, which is the using the combinators as markers for what goes on a belt. And I'll do the same here for the iron input. Quickly do that. I have a real problem with drawing straight belts, as everyone will learn very, very soon. My belts always end up very crooked. But that's okay. Okay, so I need some green circuits. I think I better put 2 red inserters here, just to make sure that I have enough for when we expand out to the eventual 5 science per second. This may not be enough with just 1. Yeah, if you want straight belts, don't come to my stream. Let's see. So we have... let's see. Is that enough power? That is enough power. Okay, mentioned before, we need 24 of these. Let the bots do some work. And then that's 4. 8. $24. Bots get it all finished up, and that's the logistic and I forgot the name again. Logistic and automation science are completed now. Going to capture a blueprint for this. I'll just grab all these belts. Yeah, I'll grab all the belts. Oh, I didn't forget. I forgot that I didn't forget. I think that's everything. Anybody notice anything I'm missing? Should be enough gears. The other thing that I'll upgrade, or will upgrade during the event, along with the assemblers, is yellow inserters to blue. At least in this assembly, we should need more than blue, and we may not even need any more than yellow. The later sciences will obviously need blue, and some of them may need stack inserters. I'm not positive, but we'll learn that one as we go, as we see the science not keeping up. Okay, blueprint time. Okay, MMO, red, green, 2 per second. Actually, yellow belt is fine for that. Oh, we're only aiming for 5 per second, so a yellow belt is going to be plenty. It's going to be plenty of transport for the science we're aiming for the event. In the end, thanks, Sydney. In the end, the you obviously could ramp up the science even more, but I think once you get to that point, doing outposts and doing and doing a specific science outpost, and then you have a lot more capacity. 311S12. Catherine rated my stream. I am Wally1169. I'm one of Catherine's Skykeepers, and we're working on building blueprints for the science for the MMO next week. All right, so that's that blueprint. I think it's good. I'm going to let the bots pick it up. Back to there. I'll keep that one too. So next is military and chemical science. I'm going to double check my notes a little bit on this one. We need 20 military science makers, so that's the same roughly size, or that's the same number of assemblers as the red had. 6 making AP ammo and 2 making regular ammo. I always like to start with the ammo. I should have that pinned to make my life easier. And I'm going to do the same kind of inner outer trick here. I'm also going to see how I space this, because I don't want to. And I've already messed it up. I don't want to mess this up, and I want to make these blueprints be compatible with each other. So I just want to make sure that I space these properly. Can't draw a straight line. Can't draw a straight line. Okay. There. That's where I thought it was, but I wanted to make sure. So that'll be my first. Oh yeah, no, not a stress test. It's full on MMO this time. So, okay. This belt should be able to handle no problem this military science. And what I'm doing here is the same thing I did on the red science. I'm going to bring in some steel on this belt and put it on the other half of the belt with the ammo. Catherine is on the mini-map because this is her map, her save. And so when you pick up someone else's save, it magically becomes, or still retains their name, and I don't know if you can get rid of that. I didn't look that far into it, but it keeps her name on the map. So today, the part of Catherine the Sky will be played by a guy. Okay. I think I will still keep the oh no, I forgot. I need to bring the iron in on this belt. Ha! Played by a guy with a bad microphone, by the way. Sorry about the bad microphone, by the way. I meant to mention that earlier. I am using a headset mic, so it's not great. I don't need this belt. It's not great. This is my first ever stream, so be nice. But as I work on this more, I plan to purchase a real microphone in the end. Alright, so we need a belt of iron, a belt of copper, and a belt of, or half a belt of steel. That will keep us going until the assembler 3s as well. This is actually enough supplies to feed assembler 3s, which will be great because we won't need to upgrade these belts, and that'll save time on the stream, or on the MMO itself. Okay, so then next is the piercing rounds ammo. Another name that I always have to look up. This we need a bunch of. 6 of these. I should have done the inserters first. I always forget to do the inserters first. And I should connect my power so that I don't have to look at blinking lights. I do have a few Nightbot commands, not very many, but that's one of them. Okay, so this is enough armor-piercing ammo for that. We do need an output belt here. I'm going to bring the output belt down this way and turn it at this point. Actually, I think I'm going to change this a little bit because I like things to line up, and we're going to need next 16 grenade machines. While these won't be lined up perfectly, I like to have things lined up, so I'm going to put 16 grenade machines here. Nope, that's backwards. No, I'm not. I'm going to put 16 grenade machines over here. I need more room for more belts because for grenades we're going to need a full belt of coal and a full belt of iron. No, did that wrong. Yeah, perhaps I probably will do that. I can't build as well sideways, so I have to build north to south. I guess it's a artifact of learning to play Factorio from Catherine's original. Oh yeah, definitely. That's a great idea, and I will do that. From learning to play Factorio from Catherine's original Mega Base series, and it being a east-west bus, my brain, for whatever reason, doesn't function well enough to accomplish the building is fast, I should say, at least, or is convenient building with against the north-south bus. So we have a belt of coal and a belt of iron. In the end, this will still be a full belt of a yellow belt of iron. This will need to be a red belt of coal. It's not KOS's fault. It's definitely my fault. But I wouldn't be here if it weren't for KOS, so I'm here. Did I miss something? Oh, Sydney was explaining the MMO. Okay. So I think this is... Oh, not ready. Let's do that. Let's do this. And that's too far now. Of course it is. I think at this point I can design with the medium power poles in mind. Let me move some stuff around here. Because by this point we're gonna have to have plenty of steel coming around. Output inserter needed for red. Ooh, good spot there. Thank you, Peps. I knew we kept you around for that stuff. So let me replace these real quick. That'd be better anyway. Let's see. Iron in, coal in, and that should be it for. Yep, that is it for the grenades. So we need a bunch of these machines. 16. Of course. 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Yes, you do need a fish emote. Everyone needs a fish emote. And I forgot this belt, so let's bring that one up as well. I'm surprised there's not a fish emote. As many counting with Wally. Yeah. he might have been, the Count might have been my favorite Sesame Street character, but it also might have been Oscar the Grouch. And then next is the actual military science. Well, actually, next is the walls. Let's see. Walls will need just bricks. I may do some squiggly mess here. How do I want to handle this? No, I think I will make the bots do some manual labor here. And move this one tile off. What do I do now, Peps? Okay. Let's see. Stone bricks will be yellow to start with. It'll need to go red by the time we go to assembler 3. And I think I'm going to do I know I'm going to do 2 inserters on this. These may need to be blue right away. But I'm going to, at least for now. Oh yes, cut and paste. Cut and paste is a great new feature. I love it. Switch the ammo and grenades belt up north. Let the walls go north on a half belt too, and you can have blue science after the walls. That's kind of what I'm doing. This might be what you're talking about, and it might not. Might have to see after we get there. Okay, this will be gray science, which is military science. And now that will stop blinking. So I have a half belt here for the walls to be on. We will only ever need a half belt of walls, I believe. If not, we can do some belt squiggly fun to make it work. I'm not opposed to belt spaghetti, belt squigglies a little bit. Okay, this I will run again down to the just to the entrance to this 4 belt space. That'll be so we can decide later which direction the blue and gray science will go. Build a wall out of red shirts. As meat shields, I think is what we used to call those in World of Warcraft, probably other MMOs as well. Oh yes, belt art for the tanks, which is pretty much the Factorio equivalent here. So that's great. 10. How many did I say? I forgot already. 16. That was 10, 12, 14, and 16, which coincidentally is the same as the number of grenades. No, it is 20, not 16. I almost messed up. That was coincidental. Good thing I noticed the coincidence. So I think that is gray science. Did I catch every inserter? Did I catch everything? I think I did. So what I have going on is the piercing ammo and the grenades are going to share a belt. We never need more than a yellow belt here worth of that, and then a yellow belt full of or half full of walls for the military science, and then they will come out on this belt here. On the other side of this is blue science, which is now called chemical science, and I didn't have to look it up. Blue science needs chemical science needs solid fuel, advanced circuits, and engine units. For blue science, we will need 48 assemblers, which is a lot, which is also not in the right spot. Because we will need an input belt. Well, I'd like, so when I do 3 or 4 ingredients to an assembler that has an output belt, I like to do the input belts because you usually require more materials on the input belts. I like to do the input belts just one space away. That way you can use blue inserters or stack inserters. And then I like to do the output belts on the second tile away, so that I can use the I can just use the red inserters for those because their output is so much slower. Okay, I think I will move these down. Not move. Copy these down a row and have. Is that going to set anybody off? Having those not be lined up with those, we'll live with it. We need how many of these? 48. Wow, 48 of these. That is very long. I think I'm going to change that. How do I want to change that? You're talking about the 2 blue science makers being off compared to the walls? Yeah, I know. I like it this way. I think I'm going to change. I'm going to change this for blue science. I think I'm going to double it up. Yellow and purple are going to be massive, but I'm okay with that. This is just really big, I think, for... I guess I didn't want to cut that. I wanted to... this is just really big for this early in the... Yeah, that's what I'm going to do, Peps, is do a double row. But I think what I'll do is... I think what I'll do is output it, have an input belt on the outside, have an input belt on the inside. Oops. See, no straight lines. I need to have an emote made when I can have emotes of something about no straight lines because I cannot draw straight lines. We will be using Mark II assemblers. I'm just designing with Mark I's. It's quite likely that by the time we're making chemical science and even military science, that we'll have a proliferation of Mark II assemblers. But at this point, I don't want to. I messed something up. Great. At this point, I don't want to lock us into Mark II's in the blueprint. We can always upgrade them later, and go from there. I'm not sure if this is going to work right. I may end up having to shift this blue science. I still did it wrong. I may end up having to shift this blue science up a little bit in the end, because I may need more room down here. So what I would like to do. Let me copy this first. What I would like to do with this is, of course, belts don't like me. I would like, there's probably a mod that does this, but I would like a mod that when you rotate a blueprint I know there's mods that have to do with um, uh, the Mark 1s are 0.5 and the Mark 2s are 0.75. So there's not much difference in the output. This is going to be no. The event's going to be 0.17 dot latest. So whatever. I mean, currently it's 0.17.45. It'll be, if there's another version or two released this week, then it'll be that version. It'll be whatever the latest version is on Saturday. Yeah, I know there's mod for flip. I don't know if do they flip the belt orientation along with the flipping of the belts, or do they only flip the belts themselves? That's the question that I was wondering about. Oh, that's handy. I guess that would be a good potential mod for this. Then. It's not a huge deal, I suppose. The Google Docs said 0.15. That might have been a typo? I don't know. So my intent here is to still have two input belts, and to split the materials like this, so that I can still have one output belt and then connect it in somehow with this belt for Gray Science, because I don't want to have to try and do anything too crazy here, because this is all going to have to get built by the human bots in the event, and I don't want anything too crazy. I don't want anything too crazy. I'm also going to do a side load here so that we have a yeah. Oh yeah, that is probably from the last event. That was probably a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Yeah. So I'm going to side load here so we don't have to worry about what side of the belt the Gray Science is on versus what side and the Blue Science being on both sides of the belt. And the output of this is 2 Science as is right now, up to 5. So no matter what, we're still not going to use the half of yellow belt. So it's going to be okay. So back to copy pasting. That's 4 per side, 6, 8, 10, 12, 18, 20, 22, 24 per side. That should be 48 machines. Let's do the counting trick. 48 machines. Excellent. And that looks much better, I think. Anyway, I think you guys will agree with me on that one. So next up for, you know what? How do I do this? Oh, I know what I did. Okay. So next is the engines. I'm assuming that we're going to make the solid fuel near the oil outpost, belt it, and and belt it in on the bus somehow and bring it up here for science. We could pipe in light oil, but I think it's easier just to belt in the solid fuel for this. Okay. Next is the engines. Engines are going to take. Check my notes. Engines are going to take human belting for the solid fuel. Yes, we could. I guess I didn't write this down properly. So engines. This is my my hell mod. I designed all of this again for the 5 per second. This is a so we need 2 machines making gears and 4 machines making pipes. I think the way that I want to do this is to kind of do the typical this might not be lined up right, but I'll move it in once. That's what the bots are for. Is to do the typical, okay, this is pipes. I keep getting distracted, sorry. Pipes. Do the typical, like we did earlier with the green science. Do the side load with the second machine, and then I think what I'll do is just duplicate this, kind of. Yeah, that was Hellmod. I like Hellmod. It's a little bit of work to learn, but once you learn it, it works really well. And it helps do, yes, it's different. It's sort of like I mean, a lot of people use FNEI, and FNEI works great. I love FNEI as well, but FNEI or Hellmod is better for I think anyway, for making for heavy mods, because you don't have to worry about ratios. Especially with some of the crazy ratios in like Angels, and I think Bobs might have some crazy ratios in just standalone Bobs. And I just can't handle the crazy ratios, so I use this. Yeah, we could belt in the salad. We could yeah, because we're only going to need 2.5 salad fuel, so a belt might be a waste. So I could do a little BP for salad fuel. One of the things that I did do, and I can show this here, is I did an optional mini red circuits build for Blue Science, and that is because we may get to be building Blue Science before we're quite ready to have red circuits going. And this provides enough red circuits just for Blue Science, and then you can have your bus-based red circuits build just feeding the mall and feeding the later sciences. So I integrate, personally, when I build my own designs, I integrate red circuits into the Blue Science build. I'm going to make it optional for the MMO, and then we can decide to use it or not. So we'll design that or we'll build that in a little bit. Okay, so that is the beginning of engines. Yeah, well, it's still eating from the main bus. I mean, it's still eating a half a belt of copper and a half a belt of plastic and a half a belt of green circuits, so it's still eating it. So it's still the same amount of red circuits being built, but it's dedicated, so you don't have to worry about baking that math in when you're trying to build the bus's red circuits. Yeah, I'll do a little add-on blueprint for the salad fuel, and then if we decide to use it, we use it. If we don't, we don't. It's not any big loss as far as that goes. All right, so I want to make sure this is on the correct sides. Pipes on the top, which means in the inside. Side loading here, which I could splitter. I could do this with a splitter, but I'm not going to. And then again, pipes on the top side going into the inside, which is merging onto the inside. Pipes on the top side. So I could actually do this as well and side load those in. Save a little bit in cost, I guess. I mean, a splitter costs a little bit more than 2 belts. Not significant, but it doesn't hurt either. And I do like the new graphic with the belt overlap a little bit there. I like that appearance It looks pretty cool. Um, yeah, space is an issue too. Like if you wanted to beacon this science, you can't. Well, you could, but you'd have to space it out, and then I'm also putting the power poles in between the machines, so that makes beacons less efficient. By the time I'm ready to beacon, honestly, usually I move on to another map. But if I were to be ready to beacon at this point, I would rebuild in outposts and then have new setups, or have a new science outpost, or however I manage to do it, and then have beacon setups for the science instead of having yeah. Oh yeah, and this would be fine. I mean, our objective is to get to the rocket. So when we get to the rocket, um, at that point it's open for whatever. So it'll be fine with this. So this will need some iron. It'll need yellow belt to start with. It'll need to eventually be upgraded to red once we get to assembler 3. But for now, and even if we do end up with, I think I messed this up. Let me check. I think I need another space here. I do. I need to do this a little differently. Yeah, there won't be beacons before the rocket. That's for sure. I think the first beacons we place, if we place any beacons, will be for the rocket itself. But even then, we won't need that. We won't get to it in this stream. Actually, I plan on ending the stream after I finish the blue science. But but another stream, I will eventually get to the rocket layout, or the rocket supplies and whatnot. And the rocket, I think, hopefully we'll have productivity 3 modules by the time we get to the rocket, and we'll put them in the rocket, and we might put some speeds in beacons, but I don't see us beaconing anything else, and I really don't see us moduling anything except for the rocket, at least for that first rocket launch. Depending on how long we play after that, we'll see, but for that initial jaunt, I don't see it. I need to move this over 1 tile because I want to have the engine output come down in between here, and then actually it's going to, I may actually even space this out a little bit more, because it's going to merge with the let's see, can I do this without being nasty? Let's do it this way. I could space this out more, but I like it keeping it together, and it'll also be a little bit less of a hassle for the lumberjacks, not having to chop down a bunch of extra trees. I mean, another tile's worth of extra trees, but still, a bunch of extra trees. I think we will eventually need extra inserters on the gears. I will go ahead and place those now. 1 on the pipes is enough. Pipe, gears, pipe. Yeah, we'll need a few red belts for in order to get 5 science per second out of especially the yellow and purple science, and even out of the military science for the coal. But yeah, most of this I did all the math, and actually, or not math really, but all the estimations, and most of it can stay yellow belts, especially these first 4 sciences can stay yellow belts well into the end of the game. The other thing that we need for engines is a half a belt of steel. We will only ever need a half a belt of steel for that. Oops, need a little more belt there. Only ever need a half belt of steel for engines. If we run a full belt, it doesn't hurt. It's just belt storage at that point. But we only need a half a belt. I guess I could side load it just to make sure that it's only half a belt. Oh, thanks, Sydney. But I think this is okay. Let's see. We will do engines. I'm going to cross these over just so that we can use the shorter handled inserters. So the engines will output onto this belt. It'll side load onto this belt with the solid fuel coming in, or honestly the red circuits. It doesn't horribly matter. I usually do the red circuits on their own just because they actually require a full half belt of yellow. That way, if you ever go beyond 5 per second, then you'll need you'll actually need a full belt of red circuits, so or an upgraded belt. So I usually split the belt between the fuel and the engines. So this will be solid fuel coming in here, however we do it, and then the red circuits will come in here, however we actually accomplish it. My dog is barking at something, so I just quieted her down. Probably a package delivery or something along that line. They come here frequently. Okay, so engines, we need 40 engines. Maybe I should do the same thing with engines that I did with, in that case, a ship coming into port. Maybe I should do the same thing here that I did with the blue science. Designing on the fly, right? Alright, bots, come and get to work. And then actually I can move these. Yeah, this actually will be better. Let's do this. Well, let's not. Oh, no! Cancel! Haha! Stopped in their tracks. If I mirror this, I'm just mirroring it manually because I don't want to have to labor over the correcting it later and then having it be wrong anyway. You go there and you go there. That looks mirrored. So I'm going to take these out completely. I'll leave that there for right now. And then I have to get the steel in here. Maybe I can just sneak the steel undergroundies. The other option is to bring it up on the outside here and then underground it through. That's probably a little bit less messy. Let's do it that way. I'll just underground these to bring the steel in. Alright. Guess I'll have to put some space in here. Now that's going to set somebody off right there. Not being aligned. I don't think they do with this level of machines. I don't think they need the blue inserters. There's not... The pipes shouldn't at all. This machine needs one iron plate every half a second. They might. Actually, now that you mention it. What's the swing time? I'm sure Peps knows this. What's the swing time on a yellow inserter without a stack bonus? because that'll be the deciding factor, I think. I don't like this either. I don't know that I like this. 2.5 items per second. Okay, so they're fine then. At least with the gray machines, we may need to upgrade them. But I don't think I like this either, guys. I think I want to do. I think I want to do iron on the outside, and steel coming up the middle. So I will cut that. Shouldn't have cut it. I should have copied it. Oh well. And then I will cut this. And then I will make that belt. Let's see. Paste, scroll wheel, shift scroll. I think I will have the iron coming up. Yeah, I like this better. Outputting to center, yep. Have the steel coming up on the inside. Have the output belt for the... Now this will still have to be the output belt. Still have to bring the steel in differently. But that should still be fine. I guess we could do 2 steel belts and just do... really do half belts then. Yeah, let's make more mess here. But let's get to work. Alright, and then paste. So if we do it this way, then we have an iron belt here, an iron belt here. This will be the output belt for the engines. Ooh, look what I just noticed. I have now too many belts. And then I could have a half belt of steel coming up on the outside, turning inward. That can go away. And then have another half belt coming up there, like that. I think I like that better. It actually looks... I think it looks a little bit better, and it's definitely going to be a lot shorter as far as the spaghetti goes, or as far as the height goes, because of all the engines needed. So I think I'm going to end up moving the engines and the chemical science factories up, so I have a little more room down here for belt crisscrossing, because I want to keep this this piece here in line. That is correct, in line, right? Yes. You can come out of here. Oh, nice. Yeah, definitely the more the merrier. Steel will be here. Steel there. And actually I'm going to... I wish there was a... maybe I'll do a 0, or I could do a dot. A dot might be good. As in, only do a half belt, people. Not that it matters that much, because once it fills up, it'll just never get used, but we might as well keep it this way. You know what? I changed my mind again. I'm going to just underground here. The engines coming in, along with the chemical science coming in, or that's chemical science, along with the solid fuel coming in, and then we'll just call it a day at that point. And I'll keep this space here. I'm going to move these guys down just so that they're in line with the blue science, so that everybody is happy. Engines, 40, 4, 8. 40. That makes sense because there are extra blue sciences. So that is engines. Next is red circuits. As I mentioned, the red circuit build will be a optional piece. Otherwise, the red circuits would come in here somewhere. Yeah, I'm going to put a little marker next to these, at least temporarily, for red circuits. And solid fuel. Just so that I don't forget, because I tend to forget things. Which is why I like this idea of using the combinators as markers. Let's see, red circuits is going to be... And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use kind of like the mini half build of red circuits. Let's see, 2 belts on that side, 1 belt on that side. So this will be copper, this will be red circuits. Then there'll be 4 more red circuits here, but I'll copy those in a moment. The red circuit output belt here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna I keep arguing with myself on whether I should improve this or not. All right, squiggly belts. Copper is actually going to come in here, and we will half belt that. Copper. We need a half of a yellow belt to start with, and then these will actually have to go to a red belt once we go to blue machine. So this will actually be one of the early red belts for this playthrough. Let's see. We'll need. Let's see. Copper in. Copper wiring out. Don't need the extra one there. In for the... And then this is going to be a half belt of plastic and green circuits. And this will also need to get upgraded to red fairly fast. Yeah, at blue machines, at Assembler Mark IIs. And so that'll keep our red circuits fed for a long time. Okay, I'm going to copy this piece and only this piece. And that is 1. Then we will need 6 of these total. 2. I'm going to call that fine. I don't really want to try and do a... Oh no. Try and do a split with this. Do it that way. This is going to get massive once we get to purple and yellow science anyway, so we're going to need a bigger island. Maybe. Yeah. Oh, geez. Apparently I also cannot aim. Let's do it this way instead. Did I do all 6? I don't remember. I'll do this the easy way. 42 is 6 and 36. Yes, 42. It's the answer to life, the universe, and everything. We'll definitely need to have... I think we'll definitely need to have the portion of the bus that contains the purple and yellow sciences and even the rocket stuff aimed toward a taller or wider, depending on which way we orient the bus, section of the island, because those are going to be some tall builds. I think I can glance real quick here. No, actually they're not tall builds. They're not. They only take 28 machines each. So that's actually smaller than these guys. Okay, never mind then. This will actually be the tallest piece of them all. We could copy this, flip it, and have the red circuits output onto both sides of this belt. That would only put this 1, 2, 3. That only put it up to here. That's yeah, that is true. I was doing some fuzzy math, and we're going to need like 20 belts of iron if we're going to generate. Slip the reds to keep it shorter. Split? Yeah, that's what I was just talking about, is possibly splitting it and making it be 2. And I think that's actually a really good idea. I'm basing these designs, as I mentioned earlier. I think I mentioned earlier. I based these designs kind of off of my own designs from when 0.17 first launched, and let's not cut. Let's copy, because I want to know where the space is. Let's see. I think I can put it... Alright, I'm just going to put it there. Left gears assembler for the engines. Oh, good catch. And for the pipes. Good catch. Thank you. I'm going to remove these now. Sometimes using the cut tool to deconstruct is easier. Because deconstruct is Alt-D, and I have a hard time with the Alt key. I don't know. It's one of those things. Alright, so let's quickly rebuild this. This will be that belt coming in. And then this will be this belt coming in. You are in, out, out. Power there. Actually, hold on that for a second. Wrong direction. Straight lines. Okay. Let the bots do their work. I think that matches. And then we just need to copy this twice more. And I think that works best. I'm also going to shift it over. Yeah, I am inching closer and closer. Well, fortunately this is the last thing that I'm going to build here. I'm going to find some place to put the little mini build for the uh, solid fuel, but yeah, I agree, Sydney. It is much nicer to have it just be shorter. Where I'm going to build the solid fuel, but I'll figure out how I'm going to do that. Now that I've done all of that, I keep telling myself that I'm not going to add in I'm not going to move all these up, and then I keep telling myself that I'm going to, and I think I finally decided that I'm going to. Yeah, I like the modular concept. I like having everything kind of in rows or columns. Is that how many it is, Peps? That'll be good. I assume we're just going to do it that way. Yeah, it'll be 5 in the end. It'll be 2 to start with. So we wouldn't have to build. I mean, building 5 versus building 2 wouldn't be anything to worry about, I suppose. But yeah, you can split it easily and slice it right down the middle and call it a day. That's what this is one of the reasons I really like Hellmod. Is I was able to figure out exactly, even though Peps just told me, and I believe Peps, but you're easily able to, let me delete that row, easily able to click on an item and tell it what recipe you want, and boom, you have exactly the machines you need. If you're going to do beaconing and moduling, you can do that here, but the quickness of it is really nice to have. Okay, so what I was saying was I was arguing with myself as to whether I should move everything up a little or not, and I've argued myself back into moving it up. I'm going to cut here. This entire thing and really get the bots working. I just noticed something I left out. No, I didn't either. Never mind. I think this is where I want it. So that'll clean up some of this spaghetti here. I actually haven't used actual craft time. Are they doing it? They are doing it. Okay, good. Oh boy, they're complaining about charging now. Good. I actually haven't used actual craft time. The first time I used it, Peps was with you in that most recent map. So I'll have to give that a little bit more try. And yeah, it is nicer because it's just a little gooey in the corner, and you can have it up while you're building, because Hellmod does get in the way. This does look a little goofy in a way, I guess, because it's way up here, but I like to have things aligned. So let's see. So if I rethink about how to route these materials over and around, yeah, straight lines for sure. How to route these materials over and around and into these belts. I think I'll give it a little bit of space here just for fun. Maybe 2 spaces. Oops, splitter there. And then too far. And this one, still not a straight line, but this one, nope, could go there. Alternatively, I could underground these guys. That's a better idea. Underground these guys. Direction of the last underground. Oh yeah, oh, it's going away anyway, so who cares? And then I can put the splitter, not there, but here. I will go down one more. Okay, That'll be one belt of stuff coming in. That'll be one belt of stuff coming in. And this can get tightened up a little bit. Too far. Wrong direction. Assembler for the engine parts. So 2 rows. These? Yeah, I could now, actually. Now that I mean, it's only 1 row here. That's what you're talking about? I could move, I could tighten these up one space closer. Okay, you convince me. I'll do it. Bots! Back to work. Line it up. To get rid of that power pole, but it shouldn't be necessary anymore. So I think those reach, which is even better. One for each side. I don't follow MoGraphs, sorry. Move the assembler for the engine parts. These? The engines themselves or the pipes and gears? Yeah, you're right. I guess I could move these. Oh, I get what you're saying. I think I get what you're saying. And I like it. So I'm going to do what I think you're saying. Which is that. And then that also, the reason I like it so much, is that gives me the ability to move the steel in closer and not be squiggly. Thank you. I like it to be nice looking. I like it to be nice looking as well as functional. Plus, you know, there's going to be... How many, Catherine, do you think we'll have? 1 million people this weekend? Next weekend? Maybe somewhere around there? Looking at this, so... Hey, I want it to look nice too. And I can imagine that people might want to borrow these, so... which I probably could put them in a Google Doc or something at some point too. I can imagine people might want to borrow these at some point. So yeah, 1.4 million people. Perfect. So I can imagine people might want to borrow these at some point. So I think having them look nice and be, as well as be functional. Now you know what else I noticed? I have too much space here now again. So the bots can get back to work once more. Output belts of the pipes. Oh, these ones here. Good spot. Okay. So we have space. We have the bus down here. We have a space for the science bus. And now we have a space for the blue science minibus. Okay, so this is for the, I don't know, the OCD people in the room. Is it better to have this power pole be aligned with the engine makers or aligned with the pipe makers? Peps? I think this will come in this way and get placed there. Or could I put it, or do I put it here? I think I'll put it here instead. Well, I didn't want to delete those, I guess. That's true. But also not true. I mean, the only reason this power pole is here is for this pipe maker, because the engine maker is fine. So if you want to use that as your science, then it should go here with the pipe maker, not the engine maker. All right, we're splitting hairs big time here now. So this will be if we bring the solid fuel in from the bus. This will be if we bring the red circuits in from the bus. If not, ooh, I had a crazy idea. I could put a splitter here. Oh, or I could just do this. Or even better, I could do this. And use this splitter to my advantage. Under, let's see, we'll go that way. No, I want a little more room here, because when I build the this the mini or the potential mini, no, don't do that, solid fuel assembly here, dedicated solid fuel assembly, I'm going to want to bring that belt in as well. And then I could get crafty here and do this with it. So that makes this blueprint universal whether we use the red science on the side, the solid fuel on the side, or neither, or one but not the other. It allows us to bring these materials in from the bus, or from the mini assembly, or just for fun both. Probably not both. I would advise against both. Me too. I wasn't sure how this was going to pan out, but I like this. I like this. Ooh, these are all off. Off by one. Okay. So I can't quite squeeze the. Well, we could really make the bots mad. Should we make the bots mad? I think we should make the bots really mad. Let's make the bots really mad. How many bots did you put in this network, Catherine? Quite a few, it looks like. Or do you have them being made? Or being spawned, I should say, not made. Let's see, chemical plants. Chemical plants. I guess I could get them out of the chest, but I'm going to just go and make them. Why can't I find the chemical plants? There they are. So these are going to be easy. That. Oh, you're right. Yeah, the drone swarm. Several bots in the network. Yeah, it looks like almost 6,000. They should be able to handle this, no problem. No problem at all. Let's see, outputs. No. Let's do... Not that it really matters, but let's do it that way. And then the lazy pipes. No, actually, well, should I do lazy pipes or should I... Maybe I shouldn't do lazy pipes because we won't have squeak through. Well, so the choice, Catherine, is a pipe of light oil or 2.5 at the end solid fuel per second. Lazy pipes there, yeah, I think lazy pipes there is fine because if you're not going to be walking back and forth here. If you are, then well, sorry. Undergroundies. So yeah, that's why I'm building this to have these extra modular pieces. Is if we decide to put, we choose to put the yeah, if we choose to put furiously finds the bus. Well, either way, we either need a pipe of light oil or a belt of solid fuel. Either way, it's one line. I like it either way. I guess we don't technically need this combinator anymore, since we have these nice little forced pipe icons, but I'm going to allow it. Either way. And that is chemical science, I think. We have coming out here merging with the yeah, I only use the toolbar really for when I'm starting for stuff that I need when I start a new area, when there's not stuff there to pipette. Things like the first, initial machines. I would also have miners on here in a real game. I do put all 3 power poles on there for a while, or as I get them for a while, and then eventually I'll drop the small ones. Just because those are things that I think that I need to start an area that I can't really pipette later. But then I end up just pipetting everything and not even really using the toolbar a lot. Sometimes I go back to the toolbar just for funsies. But yeah, so there's that. I think this is everything. Red circuits on both sides of a belt. Engines down the middle here. Steel, iron. Yeah, I think this works. We may find... I guess I could hook it up to infinity chests and the vanilla loaders and let it run. I may do that off stream, just because letting it run is... I think we have... How many eyes do we have on this thing still? 32, 33 including me, so that's 66 eyes on this. I think that's pretty good. And we can... I think we can hope that these are good. And yeah, and if not, well, we can fix them on the fly. Or I could test them later. But I think that's enough of a stream for me. I've been live now for a long time. I don't know where I see how long I've been live. I guess I can do my... I can do that. I've been live for an hour and a half, which is longer than I actually intended to be live. But we got to the point I wanted to get to, which is good. And belt south is totally used. This one here, this horizontal belt, or this one here. This one is to symbolize the top of the bus, and this one is to output the. It probably does. You're probably right. Haha. And this one is to output the science packs into my science bus for rate will go through here. I mentioned before. The labs could be on the left, on the right. Then they could be on the left. They could be in the middle. It doesn't matter where the labs are in this with this design, because I have this nice extra space for 4 belts to be able to transport the science in either direction, however I so choose. So I think that's it for today. I appreciate everyone sticking around. I really appreciate Catherine for the raid, and hope you come back when I stream the next batch of science. Well, maybe Voodoo. Then I will set it up before the next stream, and set it up to run, and then I can show it running on the stream and on the beginning of the next stream, and then we'll tear it down and start building the production and utility. I missed that one. Science packs. Most of my streams will probably be late evening U.S. time, just because that's when my normal game time is, with the exception of sometimes on the weekends. But tomorrow's definitely not gonna work in the afternoon anyway. Right now for me it's 5:30 p.m. So normally it would be about 4 hours from now that I would even get to stream. So I don't know. That's going to be rough for the European folks, but the videos will be up for 14 days afterwards. So hopefully you'll be able to watch those as well. So I think that's it. Thanks everyone for coming. Bye.